Hello everyone, this is John, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about my Kyosho Scorpion. So this is the 2014 re-release of the Scorpion, and I purchased this, I believe, in 2014 and put it together. This was the first of the Kyosho Legendary Series cars. So now we have pretty much the full gamut. We have the Optima, we have the Optima Mid, we have the Turbo Optima Mid Special, we have the Javelin, we have all these cars that came after this. So we've been very fortunate to see Kyosho give us what we want, essentially. So this car was originally introduced in 1982. So well before the RC10, well before a number of the cars. They competitively raced these back in the day. Even with the crazy trailing arm front suspension that is pretty wild, and then the rear trailing arm suspension, which looks very scale, if I might add. So out of all the buggies back then, this is probably one of the most scale looking sandrail buggies. I don't know, you can say what you will about Kyosho now and trying to be less scale, but back in the day, this was a very scale looking dune buggy. Another thing that I'll show off is this does have the Goodyear branding on the tires. So in 2014, when this kit came out, a lot of these kits came with the Goodyear labeling. But shortly thereafter, I don't know if it was in 2014 or if it was 2015 or 16. But kits produced after a certain date no longer had the Goodyear labeling on the tires. Yeah, it's a little bit about this vehicle. A couple other things, some of the things that are updated. So Kyosho always updates the drivetrain on their vehicles. So this one in particular has all metal gears now. They're 48 pitch. I believe back in the day they were plastic gears, probably the coarser pitch you see with Tamiya nowadays. But with that, they can handle modern brushless power. This one's got a 17.5 brushless censored motor in it, speed passion, and then it's got a censored ESC. Runs really good. I will say that this is my runner. I run this quite a bit. Very smooth drivetrain. One thing in the kit is this gearbox comes fully built in the kit, so just to keep that in mind when you're looking into this. I believe you have to put the grease in the top section, and that's about it. But that's a little bit about this car. The battery is accessed similar to like a Hornet. So it has a battery door on the bottom, but unlike the Hornet and the Grasshopper, this one's very secure. It will not come off. It even has a little body pin that holds it in there. Put that back on. But it has like a lip right here where it fits under there and stays on. So to get the body off, it's a little bit tricky, but not too bad. So just kind of like the Optima, it's got or not Optima, but the Javelin. It's got some clips out here at the top, and then here in the back, it's got two other roll bar clips that mount on that clip into like where the engine cradle would be back here. So this has a bathtub style chassis mounted on an aluminum frame. So a couple different things. There's a few different variants of this back in the day. There was the Beetle, which that's the one I kind of remember from looking at the catalogs and stuff when I was a kid. The Beetle had a similar bathtub chassis mounted to the aluminum frame. There was another vehicle called the Tomahawk, which had the same platform and everything, except it did not have a a bathtub chassis mounted to it. It had a lower deck and a top deck, and it was quite a bit lighter than this, I believe. But yeah, this is a little bit about the Scorpion, and it has a really long throw on the steering, as you can tell. The servo is way back here, and then it goes to a very similar, just a single pivot steering bar there with a servo saver, and I believe that's very similar to like the Sand Scorcher and that Tamiya buggy chassis from back in the similar time frame. I believe that Tamiya platform predates this by a couple years. I believe those came out in the late 70s, but this came out in the early 80s, 1982. So hopefully I'll be having some running footage of this, but I wanted to show it off as it's one of my favorites. I mean, I have Optimas, I have the new Turbo Optima Mid Special, but this has always been one of my favorites. I plan to put another receiver in this soon and take it on a run. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll have more content soon on some of these buggies.